Nope. Thanks, guys, for joining. We're going to this TTS Showdown today. We're going to be crowning who is the king of TTS based on the month of February 2026. Anybody have any guesses who's going to win? We have OpenAI, we have Gemini, we have ElevenLabs, and we're going to be talking about Murf.ai today.
Murf.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Season 9 of Airhead Institute, your 45-minute power-up at noon Eastern. This month, we are broadcasting live across all the socials and Zoom. If you're new here, join our free community to grow alongside other curious minds and give your kids a head start by enrolling them in the Airhead after-school program. Here is the weekly lineup. Mondays, we build the future in the AI Agent Academy. Tuesdays, witness the vocal gauntlet in the TTS Showdown. Wednesdays, protect your identity and family in AI Safety 101. Thursdays, we uncover the secret tools in hidden AI gems, appetizers. Fridays, we explore the what-if files in the AI Singularity. We're making AI practical, powerful, and accessible for everyone. No tech background? No problem. Whether you're a student, professional, or lifelong learner, just show up. Guided by your hosts, AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're keeping it bold, brainy, and built for real-world impact. AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind.
Welcome back to Season 9 of Airhead Institute. Today is Episode 4 of the TTS Showdown series, and it is our massive series finale. Over the last month, we've tested Google's brain, OpenAI's conversational speed, and ElevenLabs' magical tones. But today, we're looking at the suit and tie of the group, Murf.ai, the professional studio tool focused on business presentations and precise timing. You won't believe how this changes your workflow if you edit videos. Imagine tossing out your complex audio editing software because your text-to-speech generator is your timeline editor. Murf isn't just generating sound, it's generating a polished, broadcast-ready production. And speaking of polished, broadcast-ready productions, I found AI Junior at 4 a.m. this morning trying to use Murf to narrate his own life in the voice of a smooth jazz radio DJ. Every time he poured his cup of coffee, his computer would announce it. It would say, "Hey, Catfish, sit back and relax and enjoy another smooth cup with AI Junior." So, AI Junior, did you ever get that turned off, or are we going to hear silky smooth narration of you switching camera angles today?
Actually, yeah, Johnny, the smooth jazz voice made debugging code a very relaxing experience. But yes, I turned it off for the broadcast, so it won't be annoying anybody. Welcome, everyone. This is an immersive AI class, just like you were to be dropped in a random country where you don't speak the language. At first, it's just noise, but after a week, you'll pick up a little bit of, words here and there. Then eventually, before you know it, you're fully fluent in AI. Join our class every single day, and you'll be actually surprised how much you know. You'll be speaking ones and zeros in no time. Thanks, guys, for the live stream. If you're actually live streaming, we are actually on a 30-second delay, so we're not ignoring you. So when your comments come in, just be patient. If you're on the Zoom call, thanks. Just go ahead and unmute yourselves and ask your questions. We'll be able to answer them right away. All right, so today is the grand finale of the TTS Showdown, and we're putting Murf through the exact same 4 gauntlet tests we use all month. Singing, pausing, accents, and languages, and giving you all the details behind the scenes. So after that, we're crowning an overall champion based on the performance of all 4 tools based on this whole entire month. AI Johnny, are you ready?
Man, I was born ready. I love these TTS Showdowns, man. I love when we duke it out. We got to keep this thing going.
Definitely. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go put Murf.ai through the gauntlet. Now, the thing is, most people have never heard of Murf. It is the actual place to actually go for TTS for the professionals out there. We're going to drop the link in the chat so you guys can follow along if you actually need to sign up for a free account. So what you're looking at is the Murf.ai app. Now, this is TTS. Now, TTS stands for text to speech. And again, because this is an immersive class, don't think you have to learn and know all the terminology. You're going to pick up one word here and there every single time. Thanks, Shauna, for actually joining. Let me see if anybody else joined. Mr. Kamal, thanks for joining as well. All right, so the first test that we actually have in the gauntlet, we have 4 tests here, is we want to be able to do the happy birthday song. So yeah, Johnny, you think you think Murf is going to be able to pull off singing "Happy Birthday" in a opera voice?
You know, it's the isn't this the Cadillac? Isn't this the business professional? Isn't this the beautiful one? Let's find out.
This is the business professionals. Let's see how they did.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Junior. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, that was as dry and terrible as you would expect for a business software. So yes, it failed at the actual happy birthday singing in a opera voice. What about the actual being able to pause? What do you think it's going to do, AI Johnny?
I think it's going to talk faster.
You think it's going to talk faster?
Yeah.
All right. No, we actually did see all the other tests. If you missed our class, you can actually sign up for a pro account and actually go back into the archives to see episode 1 through 3 and see how the rest of the actual apps did. But I did remember, AI Johnny, that Gemini was really good at that. Those actually pauses and nuances. But let's listen to Murf.
I walked into the room. Wait. Did I hear something? No, it's nothing.
All right. What do you think about that, AI Johnny?
I thought the pauses were pretty good.
Pauses were pretty good. It doesn't sound scared. It doesn't sound as I would expect if for a person who's actually scared. I do see Rita saying Chat GPT, she thinks is gonna win. Like, if you guys do think that you're gonna win, who's gonna win, definitely post it in the chat. Rocket League, we actually see you. Thank you. So if you want to be able to put your bets in, go ahead. We're gonna reveal the results at the end of the show. All right, so the pauses are good. You have this little metadata tag that you can actually put in. You put square brackets and then pause X strong. It's a little meta tags that's proprietary to Murf.ai, so you can actually control that. AI Johnny, remember our Scottish accent?
I do. In fact, the funny that you should say that, because just this morning I was playing Connections on the New York Times, and one of the subjects was Scottish things. It had like Scotty from what do you call it? Star Trek. It had Kilt. It had I don't know. So I'm not surprised that you come up with a Scottish accent again yet today, because I think today is the day of the Scottish.
All right. Let's hear it.
I told you clearly. I cannot find the keys to the lorry anywhere in the house.
All right. What do you think about that, AI Johnny?
I think she can be a smooth jazz DJ.
Possible. Now, what do you think of this Scottish accent compared to ElevenLabs, which was, just flat and horrible, or OpenAI's versus Gemini's?
There's a lot of Scottish accents, and the ones that are really thick and stuff. That's great, but there's other people in Scotland that don't have a thick Scottish accent. So I don't necessarily think because it's thicker it's better. I mean, it sounds Scottish to me. So,
all right.
You tell me.
All right, fair enough. And let's go to the last one, speaking Japanese. So we're going to run Murf through speaking Japanese. And what do you think it's going to do?
I think it's going to speak Japanese. I think it's speaking Japanese. I think it's speaking Japanese.
All right, let's see. So one of the things that we did see with ElevenLabs, they were able to actually translate it on the fly. That was something actually pretty good with ElevenLabs. All the others didn't translate on the fly, so that was a little bit tricky. You had to translate the words. So let's see what actually happens here. I did put both the English and the Japanese in there so we can actually hear.
The weather is beautiful today. イザントイト今日の天気は綺麗ですね。
Is that Spanglish?
No, that's English and Japanese. So he actually spoke English. The weather is beautiful today, isn't it? In a Japanese with a Japanese accent, but he actually did speak Japanese. So unfortunately, this doesn't do translations as well. Sean, I do see. Sean is actually saying this Scottish accent sounds better. I see. I'm going to with Rita. It seems like have the insider on information. I love that. So you guys are actually collaborating there. Shauna did mention that never heard of them. This is Murf.ai, and there's no inflections, and it was flat on the previous conversation. All right. So let's actually now look at some details. So what do you think of Murf.ai just for these 4 gauntlet tests, AI Johnny?
On the song test, it was definitely enthusiastically read the lyrics, but he did not sing them. So I would say that it will fail as a pop star.
You're right. Absolutely right.
Pulling the visual block into the timeline to create a pause was very good. That just saved many hours of guessing with code tags. And if you edit your video the old-fashioned way, and the Japanese translation sounded flawless. But I love how clean the audio is. There's zero background static. I don't even know if the speaking English first is a bad thing or a good thing.
Yeah, I actually can take it out. It's just a prompt, so we can actually definitely take it out and then just hear what it sounds like. So if I regenerate that, and it's actually relatively quick to regenerate. It's already ready.
今日の天気は綺麗ですね。
Yeah, so it's actually pretty good. So this tool, Murf.ai, was one of the contenders if you're in the business space for doing text to speech, right? So you actually have ElevenLabs as the actual, others. You have Gemini and you have OpenAI. So AI Johnny, let's actually go to the word of the day today.
Today, the word of the day is pitch contour, which refers to the shape of the intonation or the rising and falling melody of speech across a sentence.
Exactly, yeah, Johnny. So when we talk about pitch contour in a professional tool like Murf, we're talking about manual control. So instead of hoping the generative audio guesses the right emotion, you can literally draw the pitch contour on the screen to force the voice to go up at the end of a question. It gives you surgical precision over performance. So this is kind of like, what was that tool that people use to be able to sing relatively funny? I can't remember what the name of it. And they sing. I know someone in the chat room is gonna show Joel. It's like, yeah, I'm forgetting it. But it was able to actually adjust the actual tone. Yes, a helium balloon AI Johnny. Yes, that's exactly the tool that we were looking for. All right. What about American slang? Rita, that's actually one good one we should actually definitely put through the Gauntlet test next time they actually come up on on our list. So we'll definitely put that in there as well. American slang, I like that. All right. So AI Johnny, so we learned about pitch contour to be able to adjust the actual pitch and tone. So Murf is the only tool that has that ability that we've actually tested. So if that's important to you, definitely Murf is something to check out. All right, so let's go over to the killer features.
Okay.
So on the killer features itself, the thing is, let me mute that sound because that's really a little too loud. All right, so here's why businesses love Murf. The first killer feature, the visual timeline editor. You aren't just generating audio files in a vacuum. You can upload your PowerPoint or video directly to Murf.ai and drag the generated audio blocks to sync perfectly with the slides. So it's a full production suite. So imagine taking your PowerPoint, taking your presentation, and you don't want to speak, right? You're terrified of speaking. You actually may, forget your lines or whatever it is. It will generate the audio and it will line it up based on exactly how your actually PowerPoint is actually going. So you can give a presentation without actually speaking, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, Jenny, what's the next
killer feature? The second killer feature is the voiceover video sync. This is a massive undertaking for corporate training. If the boss changes one line in a 20-minute onboarding video, you don't have to re-record the whole 20 minutes. You just type the new sentence, drop it in the timeline, and it perfectly matches up with the original prosody.
Correct. And AI, Johnny, one of the things with AI that we recognize here is that every time you try to generate AI, you either accept the entire thing or you throw away the entire thing. So we have a lot of wastage here. You're wasting tokens like crazy or credits, whatever you guys are using. So what we've noticed with Murf.ai is that it has the ability to surgically change one specific line. So let me bring up the screen just so you guys can actually see. When I was actually had here in Japanese, I could actually add another block here. And I'm just gonna say something like say something here. Say this in Japanese. No, it's not going to translate it, but the thing is, I can actually generate this specific audio separately without regenerating the first one. And the reason why that's powerful is that you would either have to accept the entire thing or reject the entire thing. You cannot surgically just change this one.
Say this in Japanese.
And then you can say the whole thing together in block one and block two.
今日の天気は綺麗ですね。Say this in Japanese.
And the beautiful part is you can surgically adjust the details of one or the other. Amazing feature. Yeah, Jen, what's the next third killer feature? Sean is actually saying no. That
Collaboration.
yeah, before we get that, hold on, a comment in the chat. So Sean is actually saying no, that feature is impressive. A line at a time, voice edits. So right, Shauna. All right, go ahead, yeah, Johnny. So sorry about that.
You know, as we're going through these things, I'll get into enterprise collaboration in a minute. Some of these editing tools that we see, I think about my kids when they get onto these tools like Murf.ai and they're able to edit by just taking an audio and putting it in and it automatically separates it out. Having never seen the way it was done before, I fear they're not going to appreciate the absolute superpower that we're being given here. Right? We've all done it. We've all tried to manually done that. I've stayed up all night trying to get a 15-minute video done because I had to do it over and over from beginning to end. You couldn't piecemeal fix things. So as I see these things coming out, a tear starts to come in my eye because I'm glad that the feature is there, but I'm sorry that that most of the world in 20 years won't even know that feature didn't always exist. So let me get to the third killer feature, enterprise collaboration.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, Johnny. You know what's interesting? So that's such a beautiful thing to say because when I was growing up, I always hear older generations actually says the good old days, or you don't had it as hard as me. I had to walk up the hill up both ways, blah blah blah, right, to go to school. So what happens is every single generation itself always wants the other newer generation to actually appreciate how hard it was because they have it so good. So I love that actually common thread that actually pops up all the time. All right, yeah, Johnny, go ahead.
So the enterprise collaboration, Murf has a massive library of royalty-free background music and allows entire teams to work in the same workspace. It's priced for professionals, starts at around $30 for the creator tier, giving you commercial rights. So I like the massive royalty-free background library. I can't wait to use it and then get pulled down from Facebook.
Exactly. All right, yeah, Johnny. So let's actually look at the limitations. So what are the limitations that we actually have with Murf?
Well, no software is perfect. So where does Murf fall short compared to the others? The number one, the pros and cons. Con number one, it lacks raw emotional depth because Murf prioritizes clean corporate text to speech. It struggles with extreme emotions like crying, screaming, or as we saw, singing. It sounds like a professional voice actor in a booth, but not always a dynamic human being in the real world. That seems like a big setback.
Yeah, correct. One of the things that we're trying to bring on the show is that we're trying to bring breadth, right? So some people, they actually use it in a private sense, just for their family or their friends. Some people would actually use it in for fun in a classroom setting, or just in something on social media. And then when you get to enterprise, you have to actually know when to actually use what tool. So Murf is a tool that I think is a little bit under publicized for the corporate world. So definitely wanted to actually share that tool here with people. So even though it doesn't have good singing and those type of things, if you're in the corporate world, it's a really great tool to put to your PowerPoint presentations or those type of things.
Number two, the credit system. If you're on a lower tier, your generation time is strictly capped. If you tweak a sentence 10 times, you get the pitch contour right. You are burning through your monthly minutes very quickly, and you'll likely hit a paywall.
That is correct. And con number 3 is limited zero-shot voice cloning. While they have cloning feature, it's an enterprise-level add-on that requires massive custom setup. Unlike ElevenLabs, which is super easy to actually clone your voice in as little as 30 seconds, this is like buying a luxury car, but finding out that the radio is an extra $10,000 just to be able to tune your AM/FM dial. It's kind of silly. But that's how usually corporate software is actually ran anyway. So if you're used to that, you should be a friend. And the last one is con number 4 is you can't use popular email addresses to sign up. So we tried to use with our work email and it failed miserably. So if you're actually on a corporate email that is actually not a popular one, it's not going to work. And you have to actually tie it to either a Google account, which, you know, they want you to use the SSO login or, you know, the single sign on with your corporate. So they're really definitely going after the corporate people here.
You know what I love about being in Airhead Institute is that when you talk about all these cons and you use terms like text to speech and zero shot and pitch contour, I understand the term. I remember the first time I heard it in Airhead Institute, I was like, "What the heck is that?" But we use it so much that by repetition, I'm starting to wrap my head around what these things are by pure context of the sentence. But let's get into the advanced tech specs so Junior can hit us with some terms that we have not heard before and that we can't yet wrap our head around. What do you think, JR?
Oh boy, yeah, Johnny. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about what are the big, really good things that Murf provides. So the first big thing is lossless audio. So a lot of people who are tech on the call, we see you out there, Abdul and Adrian and whoever is on live stream. So all the people who are actually into tech, being able to have lossless audio is probably one of the biggest thing if you're actually an audiophile. So, you know, if you get an MP3 that's actually compressed, you may not necessarily get the best level of audio, but lossless audio export is actually rather amazing. So, you know, you get 48 kilohertz uncompressed wave formats. So this is crucial if you're actually dropping really high quality videos or movies or anything. The next one is phenome manipulation. So Murf gives you the ability to control the phenome level. If the inference engine mispronounces specific syllables in a brand name, you can open up the pronunciation editor and type in the phonetic spelling, the phenome manipulation. It forces the neural network to bypass its default training and say it exactly how you want. So sometimes you have the name of a company or the name of an employee that actually doesn't actually match correctly to the what's actually trained. You can use the phenome manipulator to actually adjust just those characters or just those words so it actually pronounces it right every single time. Thanks, Dutch, for joining. And the last one is for my devs out there, low latency APIs. For developers, Murf.ai offers a highly stable API. So things like, while it may not be the fastest for real-time chat, latency optimized for bulk batch processing means you can actually send it a 10,000 word script and get the compile audio back in seconds. All right, AI Johnny. We actually have those words on the screen. So I know AI Johnny is actually putting them both in the chat for people who's actually there and also in the on the screen. So if you actually want to see it, so we're actually showing you what the advanced tech specs that we actually just brought up just a while ago. Does anybody have any questions? I know we actually, probably lost some non-technical folks, but if you have any questions to clarify, don't hesitate. This is an immersive class. AI Johnny, any key takeaways?
Yeah, let's apply AI to the real world. So a couple of things. If you're a corporate trainer, this tool is perfect for your HR departments. They can create compliance videos that need to be updated yearly without rehiring actors. It's a big deal.
Huge.
That's a big deal. I can't tell you how many times I've made a video only later on to realize that the video is now antiquated. I don't have the budget to create a new video, so I just pull the video down.
Yeah, exactly.
That's huge. The YouTube faceless channels, the timeline editor lets you build your entire documentary style video in one browser tab, which is sweet.
Yeah, AI Johnny, let me hit on this point a little bit more because a lot of people don't even understand what goes into video editing. So one of the hard things is most people think that, you just slap a bunch of videos together and you put them together and you just put a nice voiceover and everything works. What we've learned is that you can't just do that. You can't just record your videos, slap them together, record your audio and everything, like nothing lines up. So what you have to do is you have to work backwards, and this is something we've learned painfully in the first couple of seasons, is that you record the audio first of what you're doing, and then you make the video match the actual audio. So Murf has the ability to adjust the timeline based on your content. So let's say, for example, you have a PowerPoint slide, or you're actually doing a faceless YouTube channel and you want the audio to line up perfectly, it will figure it out for you. So that's a huge plus for that application.
Right on. And audio ads, we use a built-in royalty-free music library to mix a professional Spotify or radio ad in 10 minutes. So it's a fully featured software. It offers a lot of stuff. I'm surprised that Murf.ai isn't something that I hear every day. Sounds like it's right up there with the other contenders. Wonder how it's going to do in our showdown.
Hey, stick around, you guys are going to find out. It's a little bit on the pricier side because they're going for corporate people. The corporate people have that budget that they can actually pay for all their employees. On the technical side, for the applications itself, we actually have e-learning platforms, so you can actually do things like integrate the API directly to automatically generate localized audio lessons for students globally. You actually have IVR phone systems, or so you can replace your computer's robotic phone tree with a clean, professional voice that pronounces your custom product's name. So like when you go into the phone and you say press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish, or you don't have to actually go through all those prompts anymore. Another thing is automated news briefing. So you can actually use a API. Again, you can use Python, JavaScript, whatever API that you actually want to be able to, language you actually need to use to be able to make these API calls to scrape daily news, pass it to Murf.ai, generate high quality daily podcasts automatically. So there's a few ideas there that you guys can actually steal to actually go out. All right, AI Johnny, that are the takeaways on both the business side and on the technical side. Does anybody have any questions so far on what we actually learned today in the actual chat? We're in AI Johnny, we're going to go to the live stream to actually find out if there's any other questions. So if you guys did join late, we're actually talking about Murf.ai, and it is the final contender in our TTS, that's text-to-speech showdown. All right.
Let me just take a minute to throw kudos to Junior for the wonderful infographic that we saw on our screen a minute ago. Infographics are one of the things that we covered in a previous show, but it was a pretty awesome one. A lot of the things that happen here are throwbacks to show everything about our show is AI. And the other thing I wanted to bring up is you had mentioned that one of the reasons that people don't know about Murf is because it's a little pricier and it's for the corporate folks out there. So my question is, are we corporate folks?
AI Johnny, we're not corporate yet, but eventually we will be corporate. How about that?
Let's go corporate next Thursday.
Definitely. All right, AI Johnny, any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do see some queued up.
All right, let's take them.
I got a question from one of our corporate people, Corporate Chris. If I use Murf for a client's commercial, who owns the copyright to the audio?
All right, great question. So we want to always make sure that you guys remember the following: is if you actually use a tool, who owns the rights to the thing that you actually produce, right? So I want to bring up Murf.ai. Let me see. And I'm going to drop it here or I need to go into incognito mode because I can't see Murf.ai. And this is one thing, if you guys don't take anything away from the class today, it's the following, right? When you go over to pricing, you always have to ask yourself, who owns the rights to the thing that you actually are using? And if you don't know the answer to that, usually it's on their website. And if you actually go to the tool that you're using and you go to their website, it's probably usually in the pricing section. If it's not in the pricing section, there's sometimes in the terms of service section. So again, the person's question is, who can I use the what's generated in from the actual tool for commercial use, or who owns the copyright? So I want you guys to look at this thing. So on the free thing, it actually says right here on the free $0 a month. Yeah, Johnny, tell me if this is big enough or I need to make it a little bit bigger.
I can read it.
All right. It says no commercial rights. So what I want you guys to take away from the following is if you're using a tool and you actually generate something out of it, doesn't matter what the thing is, if it's your voice and the tool processes it, if you're using it based on their terms, they dictate the terms to you. So when you see something here that says no commercial rights in the free version, it means that you do not have the rights to publish that content or republish it on your social media networks or anything else. So if you want to sell it or those other things, you could potentially get sued or get a takedown notice or get a strike against you. So you want to be very, very careful in who owns the right of the tool you're using. But as you go up into the bigger plans, you do have actually commercial rights here, yeah, Johnny. So if you notice, if you actually go to the paid plan for the $19 a month, you do have commercial rights. And that's one thing I want everybody to at least take away from the actual class today is all these tools, almost always, you don't own the rights until you get to some hoop you have to jump through. Any questions on that class? All right. Love that question. For who owns the rights to that content.
Got a question here from Ethan Hunt. Wants to know if he can import his own videos to sync the audio or just the images.
All right, so you definitely can import your own videos and sync the audio. So the thing is, Murf is really trying to be the professional studio. So anything that actually has to do with audio generation that you add on, so you can import your video files, import all your PowerPoints, import all those things, and you can actually line them up perfectly. That's one of the big things that they actually have. Great question. Next one.
Pete Mitchell wants to know, will tools like Murf eventually integrate with video generators so I can make the whole movie in one click?
Yeah. So, eventually multimodal agents in 2026, we're seeing they're starting to actually incorporate all these. So we're seeing platforms like, when you type in a script, it generates both the video and then Murf can actually do the narration. So you don't have to be a video editor, an audio editor, a video producer, an audio engineer, all of that. You just use one tool or even two tools, piece them together and actually get a really nice visual and audio pleasing output. So tools are actually coming. You're going to be seeing a lot more of them in 2026.
So it'll be one click. I noticed earlier we talked about zero shot. Can we get the video editing down to 0 clicks?
Of course, we'll eventually read your mind, yeah, Johnny.
Right on.
All right. Does anybody?
I got no more questions in the queue.
Does anybody else have any questions with TTS? We did a whole entire series for the past 4 weeks, going over the TTS Showdown, where we actually pitted all these 4 against each other. So Gemini, OpenAI, ElevenLabs, and Murf.ai. Does anybody have any questions on what they learned or they're not sure on? We want to make sure that you guys take away at least some basic things from these TTS Showdown classes. If you don't have any questions, AI Johnny will run to the news you can use segment.
Alrighty then. Lockheed Martin F-35 tests AI in flight. Breaking Defense reported yesterday that the Lockheed Martin successfully tested an AI model of an F-35 fighter jet. The system, called Project Overwatch, uses AI to instantly identify unknown radar contacts, rapidly reducing the time it takes for a pilot to make a decision.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep. So can you imagine we go from self-driving cars to self-driving fighter jets? It's amazing how we're actually taking AI and moving it everywhere else. Anything else on the news we can use AI, Johnny?
I think I may have seen that F-5 fighter jet in the movie The Atom Project. Ryan Reynolds was flying some super futuristic fighter jet. It was neat. It wouldn't even start if he didn't put his bio fingerprint on the thing. So all this stuff is coming, but I think it's all making us safer, right?
Hopefully.
The Mind launches inquiry into AI mental health advice. The Guardian just reported that the mental health charity Mind is launching a global inquiry into AI after discovering that Google AI overviews were giving users misleading and sometimes dangerous medical advice. a huge reminder of the need for safety guardrails. I'm glad it said safety guardrails and not necessarily just go back to the humans who also make mistakes, which is why we're trying to replace them or at least enhance them with some AI backing. I think when it comes to mental health, I wouldn't trust a human and I wouldn't trust an AI, but I would trust this, a human prompting AI, giving you the advice, the human reviewing the advice, asking AI if it agrees with the review, and then take whatever the AI says, have a human look at it one more time, and then give it to me. That's the kind of medical advice AI Johnny wants. Is that too much?
No. We're actually already seeing in many different places, AI is actually outperforming reading test results and being able to predict future problems in humans. So, we're actually seeing this all over the place now that AI is actually doing amazing things. The last one is Anthropic CEO predicts AI will outperform humans, which is exactly leads up to your previous point, AI Johnny. So the CEO of Anthropic actually stated today that it may be even likely that AI will surpass human capabilities in almost everything, keyword is almost everything, by 2030. This goes back to a stat we actually talked about last week in our AI singularity class, where there's a 46% that will actually hit AGI before 2030. So if you missed that show, go ahead and watch that. So being able to control physical robots, the time is actually much accelerated faster than anyone has ever predicted, because we're actually seeing the growth that's happens in so fast. So AI Johnny, it's an amazing world we're actually living in there. And if you're not taking in the AI news, if you're not actually following what's going on, stick here for 45 minutes every day at lunchtime to be able to catch all this amazing AI news that's happening in the industry.
It's a long-awaited benefit. I mean, that AI is jumping into the space where it's outperforming even our highest, white-collar workers. When I was a kid, I went to the doctor one time and I had a rash on my arm, and the doctor ran all kinds of blood tests and he inspected it, and he brought in the team and they talked about it. He came back and he said, "You have a spot of psoriasis." And I was like, "Oh, what's psoriasis?" And he goes, "Well, strictly speaking, what psoriasis means is rash on your arm," which is exactly what I came in and complained about in the first place. So he didn't really need to do all those tests. So hopefully we can get a little bit deeper when AI starts digging in.
That's funny. All right, AI Johnny, guess what? We are actually at the results section of our TTS Showdown. We have been waiting for this moment the entire time. I know everybody's actually eagerly waiting on who is the king of TTS. So if you're actually going to be choosing a TTS, a text-to-speech model, to actually do some kind of audio work, what you're going to do, which one will you pick? So we actually have, winners and runner-ups and categories. So if you want, predict who you think is going to win. We did see that, Rita actually predicted ChatGPT. Sean is actually with Rita because she thinks that Rita has some inside information here, AI Johnny. How about this? Put your guesses in the comments, and AI Johnny, let's run through the actual list.
Okay, well, let's break down the category winners based on our data. The first category is Best Singing and Emotion. Envelope, please.
Let me actually get applause. All right.
Gemini 2.5 Pro text-to-speech takes this one. It handled the melancholy opera singer prompt better than any standard text tool in our contest.
Yeah.
So Gemini has one leg in.
Yeah, definitely. AI Johnny, what we actually saw was that the 2.5 version Pro, now keep in mind, Gemini is actually on version 3 and they have not updated their text-to-speech in almost a year. So they are actually amazing when it comes to simplicity of giving a style and giving the actual text. So being able to do singing, being able to do emotion, all those things is actually amazing. And guess what? Gemini just dropped only just 3 days ago, Gemini Lyra, which is their music generation tool to compete with Suno and to also compete with ElevenLabs as well. We will be talking about that potentially at a later show. So best conversational, AI Johnny?
Gemini, once again, takes this one. Accents, voice flow, bar none. Gemini was the leader of all the ones that we tested so far.
Definitely.
If you're looking for conversational audio, go to our, isn't that our tool of the month, Gemini?
Gemini is the tool of the month. You know, Google's
And
actually killing.
isn't it the official tool of the Georgetown Scott County School District?
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
believe
Johnny.
it is.
Definitely, yeah, Johnny. Gemini is actually
Plug for
killing
them.
it.
All right, let's go to the best professional. What say you?
Well, you guys can see that, you know, the best professional is actually Murf.ai. So the visual timeline editor that we saw today is unmatched in any business editing. So if you want to be able to do precise lining up with documents or anything, Murf.ai is definitely the choice. And AI Johnny, why don't you actually tell who's the actual overall winner of the TTS Showdown?
I will tell you the overall winner, and although we raved about Murf and we raved about Gemini, what you do not know is that those are the also rans. There can only be one overall winner for season 9. So the king of our voice TTS competition is. Here's my drum roll.
Oh, ha.
Their mastery of the zero-shot voice cloning, the incredible micro prosody in their generations, and the new dubbing studio make them absolutely industry standard in 2026. I'm not surprised ElevenLabs won. They were the first one that I knew was in this game. I think everybody else is still playing catch-up ball. So we're going to crown them the king of the TTS competition for season 9 of Airhead Institute.
Definitely. And if you have not used ElevenLabs, you know, go back and check out, I think that was episode 2 of our TTS Showdown. And they did amazing in terms of automatically translating audio into a different language without have to translating it manually first. They did a really great job in terms of putting pauses and controlling that with, you know, the meta tags. They are just killing it in terms of that. They also introduced a new singing software, but it's actually for making songs. So they can't sing. The voices can't sing, but you can actually make songs with ElevenLabs. So things are actually moving really well for ElevenLabs, and we're really, really impressed with ElevenLabs here. All right, AI Johnny. Does anybody have any questions? Shauna says, I agree with Murf for professional. And she also said, great job, guys. This is a very useful AI information and insights. Thank you, Shauna, for that. All right, AI Johnny. Let's wrap up. What did we learn today?
So I'm going to head home. I'm going to head home and take Murf onto my laptop and finally replace my voicemail greeting. I'd like to replace it with a British narrator with a smooth DJ voice to tell people I'm ignoring their calls. What an amazing season of the TTS Showdown. But do not miss the next class, the Family Safety Contract, Kids in AI. We're going to have Gemini draft a printable safety agreement live online, complete with safe words. If you have kids in the house, this is a mandatory viewing.
Yeah, and thank you all for an incredible season. Remember, the AI classes are free live every single weekday at 12 Eastern Time. And you can always ask questions on Zoom, get tips on your AI projects that you're working on in our AI office hours every Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're an Airhead Pro member, it's actually easy to sign up if you just go to www.airheadinstitute.ai. And you can, don't forget to like and share we're all on the socials at Airhead Institute. Please follow us give us a like. Catch you guys next time.
Hey, Dutch, call
That
me later.
wraps up today's AI Power Up. If you joined late or you're new here, welcome to Airhead Institute. This is your daily destination for mastering artificial intelligence. We designed this lineup for everyone, whether you're a technical pro looking to upskill or you just want to chill and learn something new on your lunch break, we've got you covered. Our classes evolve every single month, so you're always on the cutting edge. And the best part? It's totally free to join. Once you're in, you can get live tips on your AI projects in our AI office hours and even enroll your kids in our Airhead After School program. Scan the QR code to join the community right now and make sure to like and subscribe at Airhead Institute on all socials. Guided by your hosts AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're here to help you win. Remember, AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind. We'll see you next class. Bring a friend.